Afternoon, welcome to the Derby debrief live from Pride Park Stadium. Owen Bradley with former Derby County captain Shaun alongside. Derby County's wait for a win over Leicester City goes on after a defeat for the Rams at Pride Park this lunchtime. The damage was all done in the opening 31 minutes in this 3-1 defeat for the Rams. Bobby deckled over Reed, Oliver Skipp and Jordan James all scoring as a shell-shocked Derby found themselves 3 down at half-time. Sondre Langas pulled one back for the Rams after half-time, but Derby falling to another defeat at home. Yeah, they conceded 3 at home to Watford in their previous home game a fortnight ago as well. Very different circumstances to today, Barks. Those goals came late. Today the goals came early. Pride Park pretty shell-shocked by what they saw in the opening half an hour, and there was no way back from there.
Yeah, you have to say that Leicester were clinical. They had, I think, 4 chances in the first half. They scored all 4. We got a bit of a let-off with one of them given offside that wasn't. You can't defend like that. There's another set piece. The first goal came from pretty much nothing because we had the ball in the first 5 or 6, 7 minutes of the game. We looked pretty comfortable in possession, lose the ball cheaply, and then all of a sudden on the transition, on the counter, they caught us cold. And you've got to track runners, you've got to win tackles, you've got to win duels, and you've got to try and force the ball away from goal. And pretty much that first goal, it was everything that you didn't want really from a defensive point of view. So 45 minutes, the game was pretty much over. We got a goal back in the second half, which gave us half a chance, but we just probably didn't have the quality and the key moments where we needed to get that second goal, which would have made it a little nervy for Leicester, never really came. So disappointing afternoon, absolutely. Again, just proving that if you switch off, you don't do your jobs, you don't do your roles and responsibilities on the pitch, you'll get punished, and that's happened this afternoon.
And we'll talk more about some of those key moments in a moment. First, let's get some reaction from the Derby head coaches, John Eustace.
Yeah, first half unacceptable, not good enough at all. All 3 goals could have been avoided. I thought we started the game really well on the front foot, and then the first goal kind of knocked the stuffing out of the boys, and we just didn't regroup. So I'm really disappointed in that. Second half, obviously, the pressure's off the group a little bit, and the 3-0 down. And second half, we huffed and puffed, and we were committed, but the damage was done first half. So it's something that we've got to look at. We've got to keep working, and yeah, disappointed.
You're surprised how quickly the game got away from you after you started well, 5, 6, 7 minutes.
Yeah, I am, and we were on the front foot, and when the first goal went in, it kind of knocked the stuffing out of the group, and I was disappointed with our reaction, our response. Which is something that we've got to look at. We are missing a lot of characters on the pitch now, leaders, and I need people to step up and lead. In difficult moments. There's 30,000 fans here, at Pride Park, and we go 1-0 down. There's no issues, there's no problems. We can get the game back, but we just didn't seem to get a foothold of the game and in that first half, and really disappointed. But listen, lots of hard work ahead, which I've said, and we'll get back Monday and we've got to go again.
You created a few chances as the game went on, but you feel this sort of doesn't matter given what happened at the start of the game?
Yeah, listen, the damage was done first half. Second half, as I say, the pressure's off. We huffed and puffed. We showed good character to score, and we could have scored a second, of course we could, but we weren't clinical enough, and just disappointed in that first half performance.
Is it slightly different if you've got some of your characters out there?
Maybe, who knows, but it's just about people stepping up and being leaders on that pitch through the difficult moments, and the group have been excellent up to now this season, and everyone's got an opportunity to stake a claim in that team and be the man, and we want people to step up and really take their chance
to step up on Wednesday night. How much are you expecting a reaction from your team against Millwall?
Yeah, of course, and I wanted a reaction after Middlesbrough, after last week, and we've got an opportunity now to regroup, look at the problems which we had in the first half today, and we've got to try and put things right. Of course we have, but as long as we're competitive, that's all I ask. In that first half, we weren't competitive enough.
And just to finish, a word on Curtis Nelson. 11 months out, makes his return today. Not the circumstances anyone would have wanted, but a big moment for him and for the group.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to have him back. It's great to have him back training and being part of the group. And I was glad to give him some minutes today. And it's good.
Thanks. That's Derby head coach John Eustace. More reaction from downstairs in a moment or two. Obvious where the problems were today, Barks. It was that opening half an hour, as the head coach was talking about there, and a real surprise. In so much as I know Derby conceded 3 against Watford a fortnight ago, but defensively Derby have been solid for a long time. It's a back three of Langas, Sanderson and Matt Clark that's had a lot of plaudits. But today, they and the players in front of them just seemed off it.
Yeah, well, I mentioned before the game looking for clean sheets. Now, we can say they're playing well and they're doing well individually, collectively, but with that comes clean sheets. And we haven't had enough of late. Even when we're on the run, you look at clean sheets to really help the foundation of the game. And this first goal, I think the manager's spot on. The first goal, the reaction after that, and the characters or lack of character when that first goal goes in was hugely disappointing, because for 15, 20, 25 minutes we didn't lay a glove on Leicester, and we allowed them the second goal, the third goal, and really to take the game away from us. And again, I don't think that Leicester were brilliant. I just thought that we allowed them to take the game. Yeah, defensively poor, another set piece. Again, I don't quite understand the marking for this. You've got 4v3. We got punished in the last game with the centre-half scoring in the box, unmarked, going to challenge those zonal players that are stood and blocked. Again, today there was a 4v3 again, and it came off Ayew, who came off his knee, hit Salverson, and then lands kindly to Skip. So, again, set pieces, another set piece, that can't happen. If you do the detail, you take the time, it's then up to the player's responsibility in the box to defend it properly. And we looked shaky before that from a few crosses that came in. The third one killed us off, and then from that point it was always going to be a difficult challenge. So we look at characters, we look at players being able to drive the team when they're maybe not on song and they're not doing things well enough. What you can't do is concede 3 goals and expect to win a game of football. It's always a huge ask. And yeah, the second half, as you mentioned, huffed and puffed. We had some half chances. We had enough chances over the course of the game. It's probably the most we've had possession in the league this season, I'm guessing. There was enough opportunities, but with that, unless you're clinical, unless you take your chances, there's no point in having it. And Leicester were clinical, we certainly weren't, and defensively, as a group, didn't do the basics well enough.
You mentioned already Leicester had a perfectly good fourth that wasn't allowed as well when the score was actually 2-0. You talk about, and the manager talked about characters, when the game is getting away from you, as it was at 1-0 and certainly at 2-0, what does it look like to see somebody, a leader, step forward and take control of things? Because that's what Derby were missing today.
There's different ways you can be vocal. I never had a problem with players myself, kind of picking players out and holding them accountable for conceding goals, for not taking chances, for not winning tackles. You can lead by example in terms of being everywhere on the pitch, doing your job, doing your roles and responsibilities. It can be started with a tackle, it can be started with a header, it can be started with winning a press and not giving up. Everyone has their own little traits. And at times, I remember when we played with Sav, if he didn't touch the ball for 5 minutes, he used to go on this mazy run, just running around with his hair everywhere. But it got the crowd going. And it was something for him to say, well, that's what I'm going to do. Whether it's right or wrong, I'm going to show something. Characters about understanding the game. It's affecting the game with more than just your technical detail. It's about the out possession, it's about the duels, it's about the battles, it's about getting the crowd going, it's about driving your teammates. All of those things I thought were lacking for long spells in that game. And unfortunately, we'll talk about Morris all the time, but it's a huge character within the dressing room. You can see him barking orders on the pitch. You have to have more on the pitch at times, and I don't think we had them today.
Let's get some more reaction. We can hear from Derby defender Callum Elder.
Extremely disappointing afternoon. We prepared well for the game. I thought we started first 5-10 minutes well, tried to impose ourselves on the game, but after that we were nowhere near the levels we've showed over the last couple of months. Too many gaps between the units. The basics, we didn't lay a glove on them. Poor from set pieces, and against a team with their quality, you're going to get punished for it.
We haven't seen a half an hour like that first half for a long time. I mean, what sort of is going through your mind as the goals are going in?
Yeah, it's difficult, I think we need to show more leadership, more character, especially when the first one goes in. We need to regroup, we're the home side, it's a derby. We need to get back to basics and doing what we're good at and what we've shown in terms of levels over the last couple of months, but we didn't do that. It's extremely disappointing from us first half. We came out second half, we tried to get on the ball. The game's gone at 3 now. I thought we did show a reaction in the second half. We got the goal back, we imposed ourselves more, got tighter to them. But, to concede 3 goals in the manner we did, it's not acceptable from our point of view.
And is Is it a sort of thing where you'll get in the room and you look to each other? Obviously, the manager will have his say, but it has to come from the group.
Yeah, 100%. You know, we're the ones out there. You know, we prepared well for the game. We knew what their strengths were. We knew how we could hurt them. But you know, it's pretty simple. If you don't do the basics well, especially against a team like them, you're going to come unstuck. So, you know, we need to show a lot more leadership, a lot more character in the group in times like that. You know, we've got a massive game on Wednesday back here, and we'll look to react from today.
Are you happy to have the game on Wednesday and the fact it's here as well?
Yeah, of course. You know, the crowd's been amazing with us, especially over the last couple of months. They've been right behind us. We need to give them something to cheer about. We need to give them something to get up for, and we'll certainly look to do that on Wednesday. It'll be a tough game, but we need to come and match Millwall physically and you know, take the game to them and show a really strong reaction from today's performance.
I wanted to ask you about Curtis Nelson, your teammate, back on the field today after 11 months out. I know he's a big part of that dressing room as well. You must be pleased for him despite the circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, Curtis has been a phenomenal figure for this football club over the last 2 to 3 years. You know, he's had a lot of adversity with his injury. He's got his head down. He's worked extremely hard to come back. He's had setbacks amongst that. But you know, I was delighted to see him back on the pitch today. You know, he's worked hard. He got his reward today, and you know, he's a big part of the group. And hopefully, he can continue to be a big part for us.
There is Derby defender Callum Elder. Results and latest scores from elsewhere in the Championship. This afternoon, Middlesbrough winning at Hull last night to strengthen their grip on second place in the table. The other lunchtime games saw Watford beat Norwich. Tom Ince with his first goal in over a year to claim the 3 points at Vicarage Road. The game at the Valley between Charlton and Portsmouth was abandoned due to a medical emergency in the crowd. Latest scores in the 3 o'clocks: Wrexham leading at Preston. Sheffield United's resurgence continues there, 1-up against Stoke. Southampton in front against Birmingham as well. The Championship table then, correct ahead of the 3 o'clock games getting underway. Coventry with their big lead at the top. Middlesbrough not far behind. Derby slipping out of the top half. Leicester climbing into it after their victory at Pride Park this afternoon. Norwich continue to be in a world of trouble toward the bottom of the table. Portsmouth still in the bottom three. That won't change today after their game was called off earlier. Swansea and Oxford still looking over their shoulders. It's a busy week in the Championship, and we are back here on Wednesday night. Join us for that one if you can. Stay right up to date at the website, dcfc.co.uk. But for now, from me, from Barks, and the rest of the RamsTV team, goodbye.